What's happening, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. All right, just before I'm about to hit record on this Sabres Habs game reaction, we get some news. Emil Heineman has been recalled again from the Laval Rocket, so he will join the Canadiens this afternoon, this Friday afternoon. And will he get into the lineup against the Rangers tomorrow? Maybe. I mean, let's all look forward to that right now. I mean, the Canadiens coming off a bad loss to the Buffalo Sabres, a team that they've handled pretty well, especially in their own building where I watch them usually. We saw the Canadiens beat them twice in Buffalo this season, and this time they get shellacked at home, coming off a big character, strong, great win against the Dallas Stars, who are a good team. So that's not encouraging. No, it isn't. No, it's not. So what's Emil Heineman going to do being recalled to the Canadiens here? He was used pretty minimally on his last recall. Now the Canadiens are short another forward with Christian Dvorak going out for the season. So how much is Emil going to be used? I don't know, but they're going to have to use him a decent amount, enough to get him some good reps in here to get his NHL game up to speed. Now, the questions that came to my mind before I hit record here too is Emil Heineman going to be on this team long term? That doesn't matter right now, but I was just curious. I mean, he looked good, I thought, against all the rookies or with the rookies in Buffalo in September, and I thought he looked quick. I thought he was using his body. He's relatively physical for not the biggest guy in the world. I mean, Heineman's what, 6 foot, 202 pounds. He's not that small either. 22 years of age, and only has to date in the NHL the 2 games that he played so far with the Canadiens. And he's only played 10 games with the Laval Rocket this season, 2 goals, 4 assists in those 10 games. And he's a +1 with the Canadiens so far, so that's something. He's been on the ice for a goal. But how much is he really going to help the team right now? I don't know, but they're going to need to use him because the Canadiens have gone with 11 forwards and 7 defense for the last couple of games. Worked fine in Dallas, didn't work against Buffalo last night. And we're going to talk about that game a little bit more in a second. But yeah, I just hope that Emil gets some good reps here, and I hope that he gets enough ice time to get comfortable enough that he can be at least somewhat of a factor and create some chances for himself and his teammates. Because I imagine he'll be on the 4th line, coming in likely for Mike Pizzetta, going to be playing with Mitchell Stevens and maybe Ullinen or Armia. Probably going to be Armia and Mitchell Stevens is who Emil Heineman's going to play with, right? So that being said, we'll see how they use him. We'll see how much ice time he gets, and we'll see how much, good reps he can get in to help the team. So the Sabres game last night, the Canadiens lose 6-1. In the first period, it was looking okay. I mean, it was 0-0. Jaden Struble threw a beauty hit in the early first period there. The Slavkovsky Suzuki Caulfield line was getting chances. Josh Anderson was getting chances. I mean, Jake Evans got a good chance. Everyone was playing pretty good. They came out with that fresh energy, happy to be back home in front of the home crowd. And the first period went okay. I mean, there was no goals. Nothing really happened necessarily. Second period, the Canadiens opened the scoring, and Yoel Armia does it. Only Mike Pizzetta does like a half spinorama and bumps into Devin Levi in the process, and the goal doesn't count. So probably the right call. You can't make contact with the goaltender before the puck goes in the net. It just can't happen, right? So Buffalo challenged the play. Don Granato, head coach, challenges, and they win it. So from there is when things started to go kind of downhill, right? Because Buffalo's power play, let's talk about Buffalo's power play just for a second to give you some context for where they were at coming into this game with their power play. Montreal's was 21st in the league coming into this game. Let's just put it this way. The Buffalo Sabres power play wasn't that great coming into this game, and even Don Granato, being interviewed by Mark Denis on the bench, admitted that himself. And what do? In the second period, they get 2 back-to-back power play goals against the Montreal Canadiens. Mike Matheson misses an assignment, and I think it was either Jake Evans or somebody else misses an assignment. Mike Matheson did not look great in this game. I'm just going to say defensively, in terms of the penalty kill, he did not look good. Casey Middlestat was undetected on his goal and comes in and gets a one-timer from Jeff Skinner. And Jeff Skinner, again, just a casual 4-point night against the Canadiens because he's never done that before. My gosh, Jeff Skinner lights up the Canadiens almost every single time he plays us. No exaggeration. None. Casey Middlestat scores, and then who after? Jeff Skinner. Jeff Skinner, I think it was Jake Evans on this one, where Jeff Skinner just does his patented perfectly placed shot. He knows how to put the puck in the right places. He's skilled. He's a veteran. He's good. And he puts it top shelf on Jake Allen. And the Canadiens, then, with that Mitchell Stevens interference penalty. So I'm not sure if Peyton Krebs was just anticipating the hit from Mitchell Stevens. He was heading towards him. And then Mitchell Stevens just followed through and body checked Peyton Krebs. But I guess they weren't going for the puck first. That's why the ref called interference. Peyton Krebs even knocked down his own player at the same time. It was a great double hit from Mitchell Stevens, but not in the referee's eyes. Nope. So, I mean, I'm not a referee, but if you're not going for the puck first and you make principal contact with the player before trying to go for the puck, interfering with that player's ability to get the puck, I guess that's interference. So even though the player was heading towards Mitchell Stevens in the first place, he just kind of gave him a nudge. What's he supposed to do? Let him get the puck? I don't know. I don't know how to referee in the NHL, so I'm not going to try to get, into that. But regardless, Sabres go up 2-0. Yoel Armia, on the ensuing shorthanded break, gets his second shorthanded goal of the season. He got one against Detroit earlier this season in December, and it gives the Canadiens life into the third period. It's only 2-1. It's 2-1 heading into the third period, and then what happens? Jack Quinn comes in on a rush. JJ Peterka, that line with Dylan Cousins, those three young guys, looking good together, and Jack Quinn snipes top shelf on Jake Allen. It's 3-1, and then not that long after, Tage Thompson from who else? Jeff Skinner, right at the goal mouth, right in the crease, and it's 4-1 Sabres, right? So that's 8:35 into the third. It's 4-1. Game's basically over at that point, right? The Canadiens aren't burying their chances. Josh Anderson got a ton of chances in this game, couldn't bury it, and Rasmus Dahlin gets the first, well, actually the only empty netter at 14:31 because the Canadiens tried to pull a Dallas Stars move here, like they did the other night, pulled the goalie with just over 6 minutes left, and then it's 5-1 for the Buffalo Sabres. And then not long after that, 18:32, Tage Thompson gets his second goal of the game from Jeff Skinner and Jack Quinn, making it 6-1 and icing the Canadiens and really just killing any potential chance to start some consistency with winning. And, it's funny, going into this game, I actually thought, it'd be nice to start. I was starting to feel like I'm expecting the Canadiens to start winning. And I know that that's not fully realistic given that the team's still not that great. But when they show the tremendous amount of heart and effort that they did against the Dallas Stars, a top team in the Western Conference, fourth in the Western Conference, Dallas was. But then you get Buffalo, who's so hungry to get back in the playoffs for the first time in 11 years, going on 12. If they don't make it. Craziness, right? So, yeah, the Canadiens don't play very good at home. Their home record is abysmal this season. And that's the discouraging part, I guess, too. And against the division rival, so not thrilled with the game. Jake Allen, not a great showcase for him to trade him. So a third-round pick would be great for Jake at this point, right? But in terms of the tanking issue, I will say that, if you're watching the Ottawa Senators rebuild, as Pierre Dorion called it several times before he was fired, what would you rather have happen? Would you rather have the Habs miss out on a top 10 pick, or would you rather have the rebuild be 5 years in, 2 seasons from now, and they're still at the bottom of the league? I certainly wouldn't want that. I don't think anybody envies the Ottawa Senators in the way they're going right now. It doesn't make sense. On paper, they look like they have a decent group of guys, but they just can't get it together. So I don't know. But I don't want the Canadiens to tank, and I don't expect them to tank. I expect them to work with what they got, despite a completely depleted center line. Yes, you do have, and one of you guys pointed out, we do actually have some centers that can still play. So it's not the case of we don't have Nick Suzuki, Sean Monahan, Jake Evans, and Mitchell Stevens. Those guys are all centers, but we had better ones. Alex Newhook, Kirby Dach, and say what you want about Christian Dvorak. He was a serviceable centerman. He could win you faceoffs. He could win you some puck battles. He could help make things easier for the other guys out there. Mitchell Stevens wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Kirby Dach, Alex Newhook, and now especially the other guy going down, Christian Dvorak. So that being said, let's see how the Canadiens handle the next home game against the Rangers. They started off 2024 with a bad home game against the Buffalo Sabres after a long road trip. They came out pretty okay in the first period, and that just didn't go well after that. So defensively, not that impressed. Jonathan Kovacevic got minimal ice time in this game. I thought that was interesting. So are the Habs going to go with 7 defensemen again? I don't think so. Not with Emil Heineman potentially coming in the lineup. So I think Jonathan Kovacevic either comes out, or I don't know who else you take out, because he's been the only one coming in and out of the lineup. Jordan Harris has been playing fine in his return. I don't want to take him out, not necessarily. So we'll see, because in this case, Jonathan Kovacevic only got 8 minutes and 7 seconds played in that game against the Sabres, and he's been decent defensively overall. I trust him more than Mike Matheson apparently sometimes. Anyways, Matheson's been good offensively, but defensively, I see your guys' issues with him now. Wasn't a good game for him. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Not a very positive filled, spirited video, but just a realistic one. So we'll see y'all against the Rangers. We'll talk then, you guys. Thanks for the support. I really appreciate it. Talk to you soon.